If you're lucky enough to have managed to fill your NISA allocation for 2025, that's 3.6 million yen, and you've still got a bit of money that you're thinking about investing, what should you do with it? Well, let's talk about it. So I got an email this morning from a former coaching client. We had a session maybe just over a year ago. We talked about a few things that they could do to get started with saving and investing, and they followed through. They actually did all the things that we talked about, and now they emailed me today to say that, they filled up their NISA for 2025, but they've still got a little bit of extra money that they're thinking about investing. And how should they do that? So basically, this is a really common question that I get all the time. Obviously, if you're going to invest, you may as well invest inside a NISA account. If you do that, any profits you make, any dividends you get, any capital gains you realize will be completely tax-free. It's a complete no-brainer. So if you're investing in Japan, you may as well fill up your NISA account first. But what happens when that NISA account is full? Should you continue investing in the same way in a taxable account, or should you wait? So we're in October now. It's going to be about 10 weeks before the 2026 NISA opens up. Should you just wait? Just wait 10 weeks, sit on the cash, and then in January, as soon as you're able to, put that money into your 2026 NISA allocation. Well, I think both of those approaches are valid. You're not going to go really wrong with either one, but I think possibly investing it might be the better course of action, assuming that you're investing for the long term. We're putting this money away for 10 years, 20 years for it to grow, and that you're not going to need it in the meantime. So I think investing the money into the same type of investments that you've been putting into NISA inside a taxable account, and then once 2026 comes around, selling those investments and then immediately rebuying them inside the NISA account means that your money won't be sitting around in a current account and you won't be missing out on stock market gains. Generally speaking, the stock market goes up about 2/3 of the time, so most of the time it's better to be invested in the stock market, assuming we're talking about a broad-based index fund where you're buying the entire stock market and not a particular stock. By staying invested, you're making sure that you're not going to miss out on that. Now, the flip side to this, the counter argument, is that, the stock market at the moment is looking quite richly valued. It's at all-time highs. Pretty much all investments at the moment are at all-time highs. It's a very interesting time to be investing. The general consensus is that the stock market is perhaps overvalued. And so at some point we're going to see some kind of correction, whether that's a short-term mild correction or it's a more serious stock market kind of crash. But that's going to come at some point. That is part of investing. And as long as you don't need the money in the short term, that's fine. In fact, if you're putting money away regularly, you want the stock market to crash. You want the prices to come down so that you can buy things cheaper. So I guess really the question here is, are you going to feel better? Are you going to be more comfortable? Are you going to be less stressed having your money in the market so you don't have to think about it? And then in January, whatever is happening to the stock market price, you're going to sell those investments from your taxable account and you're going to immediately rebuy them in your NISA account. Your money's going to be out of the market just for a few days and it shouldn't make too much difference. Or are you going to be more comfortable knowing that your money is safe, it's in cash, the price is not going to drop suddenly before January, and then in January you're going to be able to use that cash and use it to buy the investments in your NISA account? Two different approaches. Which one is the better approach? We don't know. The only way to know which one's better is if we knew what the stock market was going to do, and we don't. So we can only think about probabilities, and that's how I like to think about these things. Think about that range of outcomes. We've got the good outcome, we've got the bad outcome. Imagine that either of them happen. Which choice would leave you feeling more comfortable, less stressed, and so on? We can use a similar mental technique if we're thinking about investing a lump sum, for example. Say you got a bonus or or an inheritance, or you won the lottery or something. Suddenly you've got a large amount of money. Do you invest it all at once, immediately, or do you space it out over time? Do you invest, a quarter of it now, a quarter of it next month, a quarter of it the month after that, and the final quarter the month after that, spreading those investments out over a 4-month period? Mathematically, it's probably better to invest the lump sum immediately so that your investments are in the market for longer. There's more chance of them growing. But psychologically, if you're trying to avoid the pain of investing and then immediately seeing the stock market go down, you might want to split it up into 4 different investments and do it gradually over time. Of course, if you haven't maxed out your NISA, and most people are going to struggle to do so, just keep doing your regular investments into your NISA account, into your iDeCo account. Do that month in, month out, and you'll probably get a very decent result indeed. But what would you do if you had filled up your NISA account and you had a little bit of money that you were planning to invest in 2026? What would you do with it now? Would you invest it immediately in a taxable account, or would you leave it in your bank account so it's ready to go in January? Let us know in the comments. And if you have a question about investing, about retirement, about life in Japan, let me know, and it might become the topic of a future video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.